Well, hello, welcome on to Check In to Stay. My name is Olalwa Mukail Tinubu. I am one of your three hosts on this podcast as we tell you and discuss with you and with each other and a special guest the first steps you need to take on your PR journey. This is a guiding podcast for you to know what steps to take. Whatever first step you take, it will begin with the job you get, whether it's your first job or your second or even your third. But you won't start where you want to be, but you will start where you need to be.
Exactly. The first job is what gets you going. The first job in the sense, the first job that you need to be in. And hospitality is all about taking new steps and learning and getting better from yesterday. And here you have me, your host, Prithviraj Prakash, and
So it could be your second job, third job, or maybe your current job, which can lead you to your new PR pathways. So I'm your third host, Sarabjot. So together we will search out the ways you can get PR easy.
hello guys, welcome back to Check In to Stay, and we are blessed with the presence of a career advisor from Atlanta College. So the first thing that comes to your mind when you're looking into permanent residency, or perhaps stepping into your career, is what to do and where to go. So, correct.
Ultimately, I do believe that when you're thinking PR, you're thinking the points, the requirements, the criterias you have to meet, and getting on the right career path is so essential to that. Whether you're going through PNP, whether you're going through
Yeah,
career nomination,
CC, yeah.
of course. So today, having someone who can speak to us about that first step is lovely. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Stephanie Kennedy. I am a co-op and career advisor here at Lambton College. I have been the co-op advisor for our hospitality and tourism program for the past 3 years. So I've worked with many different students who have used the hospitality industry to break into a career in Canada, and some have utilized that opportunity to move towards the steps of receiving permanent residency here in Canada.
Sounds amazing.
Mm.
And I guess with the connections and the network of having a plethora of students, perhaps coming from a different background as well into hospitality and starting a career in hospitality, you would have seen a lot and how they actually approach things, right?
Definitely. Yeah. So we have, I've had many different students from all over the world breaking into the industry, whether they've never worked in hospitality and tourism before. So starting in departments like housekeeping and food and beverage, maybe they're cleaning dishes in the kitchen, as simple as that, because you do have to break in at some point and gain the experience. And then others have come from their home country with high level experience in the hospitality and tourism industry. And so they have, entered into the Canadian hospitality industry at more higher levels. So sometimes it takes, people longer to break into those high level type of roles that do count towards your PR. But the importance is realizing that the hospitality and tourism industry is open to everyone. And despite whatever your background is or whatever your education is, there are ways for you to get involved in that industry. And it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to learn about our country. Some of my hospitality students have seen more of Canada than I have, and I've lived here for 41 years. So it's one of my most favorite programs that I've ever been an advisor for. And just seeing the journey that some of those people have been on and are still on, because I am in touch with a lot of people. It's very, very interesting.
Speaking of the ease of entering into hospitality and the fact that you do keep in touch with a lot of your past students, obviously, even if you're not taking hospitality and tourism, a lot of the jobs are in the service industry. So whether it's your first job or your second job when you arrive in Canada, you probably will end up in doing one of those jobs you mentioned, dishwashing or serving. But at the same time, the actual students who choose to come to Lambton College,
Mhm.
who choose hospitality and tourism and service management, they are more or less
Mhm.
focused on that pathway. So in keeping up with those students that are still in communication with you,
Mhm.
have you found that a lot of them are using guided guided plans to get to where they need to be, or is it all a little different from person to person?
Yeah, like, do you see a pattern on how most of the student approach? Uh,
Yeah, for sure. So I think the most important thing is, as students, when they enter into the hospitality world, is figuring out what type of industry they want to work in. Do you want to work in a large corporation, like working at BAMF, or like going to those big type of resorts that we have in Canada that are, franchised and have multiple locations all over the country? Or do you want to work in a cute little hotel in Grand Bend because you enjoy the quaintness of that town and the more community based type of role, and really getting to know the people that return to those types of areas every summer? So there is so much variety, and I really enjoy seeing what those students choose based on their own personal preference, which I think is great. You're not being forced into an industry or a place that you're not going to be happy in, because I truly believe that when you are in the hospitality industry, you're also living that type of lifestyle as well, right? So and the industries or the places that these students work, they're getting to try things, because if you're going to be working at BAMF, you need to know what it's like to ski on the mountains, or you need to know what it's like to go into the local spas and those types of things, right? So not only are they working there, they're living that lifestyle and seeing them grow into different areas. So you might have started in housekeeping, but then the things that you learn about housekeeping and the processes and the people that you meet, then you can pathway into something that you've learned you're interested in from that. So maybe after you've been in housekeeping, you want to go and apply those skills at the front desk, right? So there's different types of transferable skills that you can that can lead you into other roles.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes, yeah,
It's a whole new character, perhaps you're actually developing while engaging in this.
Definitely. Yeah, and there's some students that I follow that will go work at a resort for the winter time, and then when that's not their peak season, then they go somewhere else for 6
Oh
months.
yes, of course. We had a conversation with our previous guest on this, where he did mention that it's a seasonal role for
Definitely.
the most of it.
Yeah.
You can become a permanent employee
Mhm.
at certain places, but for the most of it, as hospitality, career as a person in hospitality, your role might be mainly seasonal.
Definitely, yeah.
I was going to touch on that even before you brought it up because of our last guest. And I guess in reflecting on probably what would be a worry for a lot of international students trying to go down this route is how seasonal the work is. And there is a saying, you go where the work is.
Mhm.
And that is a quaint saying, but does it apply to the human condition? Because we all want a place to call home, a place to settle down in and get a sense of community. Have you found any of the students that you've worked with in the past struggling with that? And also, in terms of their PR journey,
Mhm.
worrying about, oh, am I going to have enough points by the end of the year to meet where I'm trying to be? Is there any worry of that for a lot of students?
There is. I would say less than you'd think. It's more the people that have families that they don't want to uproot. So if you have children or a spouse that needs a stable condition, especially if your children are in school, they don't have as much flexibility to be moving around from seasonal work to seasonal work.
Yeah.
So it's just about doing research and kind of finding a place where in Sarnia, for example, we have hotels that are here that are quite busy all year round, because we
for example.
yeah, right, yeah, or those, yeah, any of the hotels that we have on the Venetian Boulevard, because in the winter Sarnia is really good about having activities like sports. We host like big events like Silver Stick and basketball tournaments and hockey tournaments and all sorts of things. We have curling, we have all those sorts of things. But then when the spring and summer come, then we have the beautiful Blue Coast, right? So you have the ability to go to the beach. We have the under the bridge. We're close to Grand Bend. So we have kind of that steady type of
Hospitality
industry.
and
Yeah, so for those people, they're most likely going to want to land somewhere like that. Even if you go to Toronto is always busy, right? Whether it's in the summer, whether it's the winter, yeah, it doesn't matter. So you're more likely to land in a place like that. However, I think it all depends on, and I think it's actually a benefit that there is so many options out there for you to find the best fit for you. So sometimes I have one student that I keep in touch with. He works in the Nunavut all winter long, and then once that wraps up, then he goes and works out west, I believe, for the summer. That works for him, right?
Okay.
Will that work for him forever? I don't know, but that's the nice thing about hospitality. It's very you can pivot at any time based on what it is or where you are in your lifestyle.
So with the requirements in PR, PNP, requiring you to have a year of work experience, it doesn't have to be situated one place. You can pick up enough points over time working from one industry, from one company to the next.
Yes, and I do know for the most part, some of those bigger industries do have people to help guide you through that. So they are very good about supporting international students, particularly because like the feedback is that those are some of the best workers that they've ever had, right? Because it's not just a job to them. It's like you mentioned earlier, it's their dream, right? So they're here because this means everything to them, right? So it's not just going to their job 9 to 5 every day. This is what their future counts on, right? So their passion and the importance that they have with these jobs is unmatchable to some of the other industries that people are trying to get into.
So you would say, probably because he's the dreamer in our team, you would say that the average person who wants to work in the industry has to have that dream to drive
and drive to actually move forward.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, you have to be a bit of a self-starter. You have to be ready to learn. You have to be ready. Like being a housekeeper is honestly one of the hardest jobs that I've gotten feedback on. You are on a timeline. Your attention to detail has to be very precise. Yeah, you have to care that the room you're cleaning is being left for someone you would let your own family sleep in, right? And like the management that you have on you, the mentors that you have on that, they keep on you to make sure that you are fulfilling the obligations that you agreed upon, and so you can improve. And they're also there to support you. So and those are usually the positions that maybe students that don't have the best verbal English communication skills, but they go into those roles and they come out being able to communicate better than ever, right? So without even realizing it, they're developing those soft skills. And I mentioned things like time management, attention to detail. Those are things that are very important in project management too, right? Yes. So there's people that you might have a financial background and you can't find a job in that, or maybe you did a summer job at a hotel and you're like, you know what, I really kind of liked this. What can I apply my financial planning or accounting skills to? And there's always a payroll or a bookkeeping or that type of department, or benefits or something in hotels, right? So there is various departments that you can get involved with in hospitality and tourism.
Coming to that, I've seen like when you work with a big corporation or perhaps a big resort, there are a plethora of options for you, whether you come from project management or finance, like you said. You don't necessarily have to be from hospitality. Right? I've seen many options for anyone from different industries to actually pivot into hospitality.
E-learning, for example. I've had students go in there and create e-learning modules for training or onboarding new employees. Okay. There's lots of different opportunities in there. Sometimes you have to approach like employers and present what you can do for them, but that's the same in any industry, right? You're pitching your skills.
Well, given that the industry is so heavily based on the human to human communication, relationship building, it seems like as long as you get your foot in the door, you're probably, if you are passionate enough about it, you're going to learn enough skills along the way that the ladder will become easier for you to climb, which from our experience in talking to guests in the past, the higher you go in terms of management skills, the higher the likelihood you will get PR in this. Would you say that for any student going down this path, they shouldn't worry about where they start, because where they finish will ultimately decide everything they're trying to accomplish?
Exactly. Exactly. What I view hospitality and tourism as is a launch pad into the potential of, like you guys keep referring to, fulfilling your dream of getting PR and landing in some sort of role that you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life here in Canada.
Ultimately, though, in your conversations with previous students,
Yeah.
where do you find the most likelihood that people want to work? Big cities or a town like Sarnia?
Yeah, where are they possibly focusing on as a starting point?
Or more likely, if they're trying to build long term,
Yeah.
like we said, build community, build a home, where do a lot of them end up? Would you say? Because even if they're moving from place to place,
Yeah.
are they moving from town to town or are they moving from city to city? You said there's a lot of opportunities in the city like Toronto. There's also opportunities in towns
Small
like
towns.
Sarnia.
Yeah.
So because you must notice the pattern.
It's honestly very even amongst, like, if you started a hotel, for example, like Fairmont, who has multiple hotels all over the country, all over the world, and you have the opportunity to, and you have the flexibility to be able to move all over the place, you're going to probably climb the ladder a little bit faster, right? But then again, if you want to, like, depending on what your lifestyle, do you want to get married? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to settle down? Then people will lean more to the places like Toronto, Sarnia, that have that year-round hospitality income, so that you know that you have stable working conditions. Yeah, so I honestly can't say one way or another. It's very different from one student situation to another's. Yeah.
Person to person and their interests. So to actually ask something about where exactly perhaps are students focusing on as a starting point? Are they focusing on small positions as in tier 4 positions like a server? Are they focusing on positions like that, or are they directly mainly focusing on higher positions like a department manager or HR?
Those are rare, coming right out of hospitality and tourism as students. For Lambton College, you come in, some of those students are just coming from high school and have not worked a day in their life. So we're aiming more for entry level.
Welcome back. We had to take a quick break, but we're back now. And the question I wanted to talk to you about was, when it comes to tourism, obviously it's a more niche area, a more niche industry. So in terms of the jobs, the kinds of places where you would find the jobs, would it be more city or town compared to hospitality, which you said was in a lot of cities and also available in towns?
I would definitely say it's more in bigger cities or places that are specifically seasonal. So places like Toronto, those bigger cities that, people want to come and do tourisms around, whether it's government buildings or popular sites, then definitely you're going to find more tourism opportunities there, as opposed to being in hospitality, where you can go to any small town and there's going to be a Holiday Inn for you to work at, right? I think it's also very niche in the fact that the skill set that is required for tourism positions is more specific. You have to be very outgoing, knowledgeable, well-spoken, have a high level of communication, a good knowledge of the area that you're giving tours on. So yeah, I would definitely think more big cities and very popular seasonal locations are more likely where you're going to find the tourism types of positions.
Well, you also said that in terms of students that you're in contact with, going down the pathway, the PR pathway, hoping for provincial nomination, ultimately, the available jobs differ based on what they're looking for.
Definitely.
Based on where they start, based on whether they want to build a family, they want to look for a place to build a community early on, or whether they are comfortable with moving around from town to town or from city to city or even from town to city.
Definitely, yeah.
Regarding what kind of corporations, companies they end up going for, do you find that in terms of, do they often choose mom and pop type of companies, or do they go for the bigger ones where they know that there's going to be opportunities to maybe get posted to a different town, but there's a higher job, a management job awaiting them there in that corporation where they will be a part of the whole family.
Definitely the high level corporations like Fairmont, Marriott, like so that could be Bonvoy in general. Those type of places are going to allow you to have more job security, I would say, more opportunity for growth. They also have really good mentorship programs that they will help students and employees get involved with, so that if you are interested in climbing the ladder, they help support you through that. They also have great work life balance, which I know a lot of people, not just students, really appreciate. So, yeah, I would definitely think, as opposed to, and I think there's at the mom and pop shops, there's definitely perks to that. But at the same time, with those types of places that and the economy and those types of things, I don't think you have that same job security.
So I do know that hospitality and tourism is a really diverse background, and there are a lot of guests as well as a lot of people who are working there from various different countries, and I think there will be conflicts absolutely going on, and it's on data on what I checked. That's a workplace where there's a lot of conflict, and
Mhm.
do you think that's something that is to be worried about?
Good question. So, yes, you're dealing with people that are coming in and paying money for services. And so, if you're working in a place like the restaurant, whether you're a server, whether you're the cook, the chef, whether you're the housekeeper, I think there are certain individuals that don't treat those certain staff with the respect that they deserve. But the nice thing about those places is that the employer is very supportive. They're very good at, backing up their employees and guiding them on their rights. Everybody in Canada, whether you're here on your PR or not, has accessibility and the rights to the Employment Standards Act, which is something that the all employers are very good about ensuring that the people in their workplace are educated on and implementing that. So, do we can we change those people overnight and get rid of those negative people? No. However, you will learn how to deal with those people, de-escalate those people, and different tactics on how to kind of turn those situations around, right? And that's not necessarily a skill set that everybody naturally has. It could be very intimidating, but I do find those places have um, the supports that needed in their in house to help guide those students through those
So,
situations.
any international student who's long term worried about their ability to apply for PR, if they make a fuss
Hmm.
about being disrespected or rude behavior being directed at them, you would your advice would be not to worry. There's enough support. They can talk to their HR and figure it out.
Yeah, HR or their supervisor or their manager. The thing about those places is that their managers and supervisors are very hands-on. They become very familiar with their staff members. So if you're hardworking, if you have a positive attitude, if you're consistent, if you're doing a good job every single day, they're going to back you up and make sure that you're working in a place that you feel safe and valued, because that's important. They want you as their staff members, which is not something I can say for everywhere, is that they want you to feel safe and valued as a part of as part of their staff. So they have a lot of great mentorship and initiatives and promotion opportunities, because they want to make sure that they're developing new staff and retaining good staff, and protecting them in those types of situations is really important to their standards. They not only treat their staff like they're part of their guests, because some of them live right on the camp, like right in the place that they're working, right? So
Yes.
that's also like you're living there, so they want to make sure that you're living in a place that
That you're
you're
comfortable.
comfortable in, right? So that's the nice thing about it too, is that yes, the guests are important, and to the workers too, they're also important, but they also really value that their employees feel safe and like they're an important part of the team.
For those who are worried, though, about the ability to build a community, build a lifelong term in a place because they want to be settled, maybe in a city or maybe in a town or wherever, where do you often find those kinds of people apply apply to? Towns or cities?
Cities, large cities, right? So if you are really immersed in a certain type of lifestyle, you do have to do your research. You can't just go where you find a job. It's very important for you to find a place that you're going to be happy. And the people that are most successful in their roles at those type of places are immersed in the community. So if you're an outdoorsy person and you enjoy the outdoors, hiking, that kind of thing, then there's lots of places that you can find that have that work-life balance that the employer often encourages you to have. Because if you're immersed in the community and you enjoy the aspects of the community that you're in, then you're going to be that much better at your job because it's something that you love and it's something that you want to promote, not just for your work, but because it's where you live and you want to have good people in the community that you're living too, right? So definitely the bigger cities. If you have families and those types of things, that they are supportive to that as well. They're open to having and finding locations that you can raise a family and put some roots in the ground, which is also important. It's just having those conversations, doing your research, reaching out to those employers that are going to value what is important to you, and not wasting your time or their time if it's not something that's going to be something that you want to invest to long term.
I think we've covered it all.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephanie. For
I
joining
think
us.
Stephanie has given us a really good insight on what it means and what one has to be or what one can focus on to be when you're taking a first step into hospitality. And it's not just restricted to anyone in hospitality and tourism. I guess it's for anyone who's actually passionate about and interested in moving towards this goal. And it's definitely a good opportunity for people to actually focus on PR. But the first step matters, and apparently for anyone.
The first step is an
The most
entry-level
important
job,
one.
and an entry-level job there's no bad entry-level job
No.
in hospitality. If you're going down the route of tourism, you have to know that the skill you need the most is to be the kind of person that can work in a sales environment, because you're selling yourself. Ultimately, you're trying to sell a tourism experience. You're trying to sell the business that you work for, even though
You're selling a lifestyle.
The people that are most successful are the ones that understand the hotel as an entire operation. So understanding all the departments and how they contribute together are going to be the ones that are going to move up the ladder, because they've taken the time to learn all those aspects of the hotel, because it's not just one department, it's all those departments collaborating together to make a beautiful place for people to come and spend their money and make their memories with their family. And that's the beautiful thing about hospitality that I think people really enjoy. And a lot of those places do have mentorship programs where they do help you build your way through the ladder and help you get promoted into leadership programs, because that's what they want to see happen. They want to retain good employees, which is something that not a lot of industries have. So that's one of the nice things about the hospitality
Which
industry
means
as well.
a higher possibility to get into PNP or Cs or other pathways for you to obtain your PR, in short. And I guess Stephanie has indulged us with a lot of data and a lot of information. And for all the Lambda College students, you can feel free to go ahead and go to your Microsoft Teams and search up Stephanie Kennedy to find out your co-op advisor and
yeah,
ask
whether you are
questions.
still in Sonia or you're already on your co-op or you're coming into Lambton College, she's a wonderful resource that you can rely on. And I think, do we want to give your email out?
If you want, yes, you can have it. Yeah.
Then please let them have it.
It's Stephanie.Kennedy, so STEPHANIE.Kennedy, KENNEDY @lambtoncollege.ca.
Okay, feel free to drop out any questions in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
So we've been speaking to Stephanie, and she's given us a lot of insight.
Yeah, about how hospitality and tourism are two different things, yet the same.
And how we can get the support from our employers too.
As well as where you can find the tourism jobs versus the hospitality jobs and even the service management jobs. So I would say, and I'm sure we would all say, have no fear.
Your PR pathway
Starts here.